Right, so I missed this earlier, so I'm just going to do it now. These are my predictions for the NBA playoffs. I I blame the NBA. I'm mad at them because they started the second round before the first round was even finished, so I couldn't get a chance to gather my thoughts. But in any case, here are my predictions for the first round of the playoffs of of the remaining series, and then the second round as well. And also, I'm just gonna go and full in. I'm gonna go into the NBA Finals all the way. Uh, Not that anyone wants to hear it, but here it is anyway. Let's start with the first round with the series that somehow are still going, even after the second round is starting. First off, we have the Clippers versus the Dallas Mavericks. Los Angeles leads this series 3-2. Luka Doncic is hurt. Porzingis is hurt. I think that the Clippers are going to close this game out tonight. This is, of course, as the game is going on, so I could be wrong, but as it stands, the Clippers have a 62-51 lead, so I think it is very likely. I mean, Paul George is somewhat back to form, and yeah, that's about it. Next up is the Denver Nuggets versus the Utah Jazz, and Utah is up 3-2. I think that the Nuggets are going to force 7 games, but just because of Donovan Mitchell and how good he is and how good the Jazz's defense is, I'm going to go with the Jazz in 7. This has been one of the most entertaining series that I haven't watched. I've seen some games, I've seen some highlights, and those were all amazing, but it just didn't get the TV coverage that it deserved. And also, I would like to watch whoever they play in the next round. Speaking of going on to the next round, I think that the Houston Rockets are going to move on to the next round versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think the Thunder are going to come out strong in the second game to try and force a Game 7, but the Houston Rockets will be too much to overcome on Wednesday. And Russell Westbrook is just going to be so dominant that he just destroys the whole team. And that brings us to the second round series that have yet begun. So far, the Celtics have beaten the Raptors 112-94 in their first game. I think that will be one of the 4 wins that the Boston Celtics rattle off to beat the Raptors in 5. I think the Raptors are good enough to where they can take 1 game from the Celtics, maybe even 2, but I think they're going to take it in. I think that the Celtics are going to win in 5. They're too good. They're too good. They have too many good people, too many good players. Pascal Siakam might be the same as Jason Tatum, but Jason Tatum is not the same as Siakam. And also, he has 3 other very good players. No matter how good this Raptors defense and their well-motioned, well-oiled machine of an offense is, I think the Celtics are just too good and too well-coached and just too talented to be beaten by the Raptors. Then, the next matchup that I'm going to talk about between the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. 1-5. A team with a great offense, a great defense, and a superstar who can take them all the way, and then the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that the Heat have the talent and the coaching and just the toughness and grit to take the Bucks to 7 games, but I think ultimately the Bucks they're just gonna pull it off because they are the better team, and they have Giannis, and Chris Middleton isn't that bad, and maybe Eric Bledsoe doesn't play terribly, and maybe Brook Lopez doesn't play terribly either. In any case, I think that Kendrick Nunn is going to be the only young player who falters for the Heat. Everyone else seems set up to win. They're just winning players, winning teams, winning culture. It's just a full team of winners. Yes, even with Kendrick Nunn's recent struggles, it's a team of winners, and I think they have next. But wouldn't it be crazy if the Milwaukee Bucks lose to the Heat and then they somehow manage to sign him in free agency, sort of like a combination of Kevin Durant and LeBron James. I don't know. I could just be talking out of my butt, but it's up to the people. I'm not a foreseer, but I'm just saying it could happen. And now for the other seed versus middle seed matchup, I'm going to talk about my predicted matchup of Lakers versus Rockets. This is a potentially very interesting series because the Rockets with their small ball and then the Lakers with many very large rebounding, shot blocking, interior physical presence players. The Lakers are too talented. They're going to take it in 6. The Rockets might be able to shoot their way to a couple wins, but I think they're going to shoot their way out of a couple of wins as well, and into 4 losses. Also, Anthony Davis and LeBron James are just too good. And the only matchup left in the second round that has no teams decided as of the recording of this video is the Denver Nuggets, Utah Jazz versus the Los Angeles Clippers and Dallas Mavericks. Of course, with my prediction, is going to be the Jazz versus the Clippers, and the Clippers, I don't know what to say. They're going to sweep it. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert might be good, but the Clippers' overwhelmingness of just total talent is just better. It will be. And that means that our NBA Conference Finals in the West is Los Angeles versus Los Angeles. And in the East will be the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Boston Celtics. Starting with the East, I think that the Bucks are going to take it in 6. The Celtics have absolutely nobody to stop Giannis. Taco Fall and Enes Kanter are too slow. I know I just mentioned Taco Fall. I don't know, they might throw something at him. Daniel Tice is too little. Just everyone's either too slow or too little or just not good enough to be on Giannis's level. And no matter how good the offense of Boston is, it could never compare to the offense of Milwaukee. And also, we should mention that Milwaukee's defense is not too shabby itself. I think they were ranked number 1 in defense. And they just have the highest ability in terms of defense out of all the teams left in the playoffs. Speaking of defensive teams, let's move on to the West. No matter how much the NBA promotes the high-powered offenses of these two teams, this will be a series of defense. Los Angeles with all their big shot-blocking bigs, and other Los Angeles with their perimeter defense superstars. There might not be a whole lot of points scored in this series. And because there won't be a whole lot of points scored, that means that LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard will be the two teams doing the most scoring. And I think that between LeBron and Kawhi, LeBron will win that matchup no matter what. So, Lakers in 7. The Clippers are going to try their darndest to stop this Laker team, but the Lakers will ultimately be able to move on to the NBA Finals, where they face the Milwaukee Bucks, and they take it in 5. It's LeBron, it's Anthony Davis versus Giannis. Between those two, I'm taking LeBron and AD all the way. Again, LeBron is just too good. He's an all-time superstar, still going at age 35. He won't turn it off. Anthony Davis, even if LeBron has the offest of off games, that is possible for him at this stage of his career. AD will come to pick up at least some of the slack. I think Danny Green will catch fire in the finals. He is a very experienced veteran player. Even though he's been struggling, shooters always break out of cold streaks with a red hot streak. So I think, yeah, that's my views. That's my views. Come back to me when I know more about what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go watch the game now. Bye.